excited to announce some new features to the Tribal Health Scheduler. You'll notice when you log in with this new update that there is a new tab, the Request tab. We're going to walk through a number of features that involve this tab. If I click into a shift, you'll notice that there is an option for me to now swap this shift. I can also access this via my Schedule tab. If I click in here, there is also a Swap Shift button. I'm going to go ahead and swap this shift. Actually, I'm going to go to a different shift right here. Once I hit the Swap Shift button, you'll notice that it pulls up a list of my colleagues who might be able to take that shift for me. I can search if I have a long list, or I can select one, two, or many to send that request to. In this example, I'm going to send it to Ali. Now that I've sent that request, if I go into my requests tab, you'll see there's reported shifts and shift request. Since I sent a shift request, I'm going to go into the shift request button, and you will see that there's an opportunity to filter here. I've done many shift requests because I've been testing, but I can filter to pending requests, meaning no one has responded to it or it's still undecided, approved requests and declined requests. So I can filter that out, but I'm going to stick with the pending requests for now. If I go in here, you'll notice that I am waiting for Ollie to accept that swap, and I still have the option to cancel that swap if my plans change. I also receive an email notification once I've submitted that request, confirming that I have submitted it. So you've successfully submitted in a swap request. You'll receive a similar notification once your colleague responds. Once my colleague has responded to my shift swap request, I will receive an email. It states, two-way shift swap request initiated. I can simply hit this link, and it will take me to the proposed swap. In this case, I have offered Wednesday, December 18th, and Ollie has proposed a swap for Sunday, December 15th. That does work for me, so I'm going to go ahead and accept. I can accept or decline. Once I hit accept, it'll say waiting for supervisor approval. Both of us, both Ollie and I, will have that in our schedule until it's been approved by a supervisor. If I go into my schedule tab, you'll notice that the 18th is now blue, which indicates that I have an active swap request out. The shift is still my responsibility until it's been approved, but it's now blue, indicating that I have an active swap request out. When I go to my Requests tab, you'll notice that instead of having simply one shift, there's now two listed with a clock. So you'll see that it indicates the swap that I have requested. And if I go inside of that, it'll show me, oh, we're waiting for the supervisor's approval. Once my supervisor has approved my shift or denied my shift swap request, I will receive an email. In this case, my supervisor has approved my shift swap request. If I log back into my application and refresh it, you will see that December 15th has been added to my schedule and December 18th has been taken off. This is reflected in our schedule as well. That blue shift swap request has disappeared, and I now have a shift on the 15th. When I reset my date, I can see that I have a notification that I'm working on December 15th right there. If I go to my Request tab and refresh it, I have no more pending requests. Rather, I have a new approved request. This request now has a check mark, and if I go inside for my records, I can see that it was approved by my supervisor and the dates for the swap. and that is our shift swap feature. In addition to our shift swap feature, you can now go into your schedule and you'll notice there are orange dots that have been added to the schedule. These are open shifts. As I look at the calendar in the coming weeks, I can look at individual dates that might work for me to take a shift. If there is a shift that works for your schedule, you can go into that shift and request it from your supervisor. Your supervisor will then be notified of your interest in covering the shift. Once your supervisor replies to your request, you'll receive an email. In this case, I was notified that my shift demand request was approved, so that shift has been added to my schedule. If I log back into my application, you'll see that that shift has now been added to my schedule for the 20th. And if I go back to my request tab, I can see that my request for this open shift has been approved by my supervisor. So I'm able to easily add shifts, review shifts, swap shifts with the Tribal Health Scheduler. In addition to these exciting features, you're now able to request updates to your Timecard via the Tribal Health Scheduler. Not only that, I can add shift statuses at the end of my shift. So in this case, I just finished my shift, and you'll notice there's now 4 different statuses. On call, if you used housing, charge, nurse, and callback. In this case, I used housing for the day, and I was also charged. I can hit submit, and that will be updated on my time card. I'm able to also go into my timesheets and report any issues. In this case, I got here earlier and I wasn't working in the AM, I worked in the PM. I can come in here and correct any date issues, any time issues. So in this case, I'm going to move this back to today. I'm going to go to 3:24 p.m. and I actually came in at 2:24 p.m. So I can simply select the date and time that works and then submit the report. Once I hit submit report, you'll see that there are now 2 times on my timesheet. The original time that I had and the reported time that I am requesting my supervisor update as my actual time. When I go to the timesheet tab, you'll notice that there are new icons with any shifts I've reported or had approved or declined. There's now an icon on each of those shifts. And if I have a question on the status, I can simply double check that yes, my supervisor is still reviewing that request. Once my supervisor reviews my shift and either approves or denies my request, I will receive an email. In this case, it notifies me that my timesheet correction request has been approved. If I log back into my application and make sure it's refreshed, I can go to my timesheets. You'll see that the timesheet has now been updated to the appropriate 1 hour and 18 minutes from the original time. And that is the timesheet update request feature, along with the shift status request feature, including email notifications and the ability to dynamically pivot to your application through the email notification to the specific request you sent. As always, if you experience any challenges or have ideas on how we could make the Tribal Health Scheduler even better, be sure to reach out to Mach1 at tribalhealth.com. Thank you, and have a great one.